Hey over there, Joe Lunchbox.
And Joy Nightingale.
And today, we have landed right here in Salem, Massachusetts. Salem, day 2. Now, the time of filming this, it is October. Halloween is in the air. There is a lot of people enjoying their festivities because they have Salem's haunted happenings. Now, there are festivals, there are markets, there are vendors, there are people doing things, there's lines to everything. It is interesting. It fascinates me that in 1692, over 200 people were accused of being witches because of just a scare. Obviously, none of those people were actual witches. None of them were practicing witchcraft. 20 people were executed, 19 people were hung, 1 was crushed by stones. People died of disease from the poor prison systems.
Oh my god,
they overcrowded, the poor conditions and that. It was a terrible situation. But because of that, the knowledge of it grew, knowledge of it spread, and now people of very earth-based religions have gathered here and made this their home. People that love Halloween, love that stuff, come here. So it's not like being punished, it's not being ridiculed, it's being celebrated. And this festivity that they now have, called the Haunted Happenings, actually started in 1982. And in the 80s was when there was the scares of, don't let your kids go trick-or-treating, they're putting razor blades in the candy, which was a terrible hoax as well. But because of that, this community wanted to make a safe spot for kids to enjoy Halloween. That's actually how this Haunted Happenings started in 1982 was the first one. And it grew to this today. And you're like, well, is this just a little like thing for kids to go trick-or-treating? Joy, hold up that brochure. Just show how full that is.
This is like so, like...
This isn't just a brochure like of stores and gifts.
No.
This is their Haunted Happenings.
Like, there's your content.
This is their Haunted Happening guide. There is tons and tons to do with it. So today, we're gonna walk around, we're gonna look at some of the street vendors, we're gonna look at the town itself, maybe get a cup of coffee. Joy likes the Disney movie Hocus Pocus. It was actually filmed here in Salem. We're gonna see some of the filming locations of that. It's just gonna be a spooky Salem kind of day, and we appreciate you coming along for that. If you like that kind of thing, we always appreciate if you like the video. If you haven't done it yet, we don't mind if you subscribe to the channel. We have over 500 videos. We're always traveling the country, doing roadside attractions, weird museums, funky festivals, all just cool spots, kind of spots like this. And comment down below. Have you ever come to Salem? What is your favorite fun museum to go to here? But it's time to do this. Step her up. Let's go for this ride. We see everyone lining up, taking photos of Samantha, the statue of Samantha from the TV show Bewitched. The cool fact about the statue is it actually sits where one of the judges during the Salem Witch Trial in 1692, his property was one of the judges that caused people to go to hangings, and now tourists just line up to take photos of it. And some people might say, well, that's the people that have earth-based religion. Is this insensitive of them being here? And like, anyone could argue each side, of course. But the way I look at it is, when we look at something like Samantha in Bewitched, in a lot of cinema before that, witches were portrayed as evil. And this is the first time a witch was portrayed as friendly, caring, a mother. And it painted witches in a good light. So I think it's a good symbol because it's a symbol that made people less afraid, more accepting. And to honor that here, I feel, is helpful. But before we get started, I think we have to have a redo of yesterday. I need a little cup of me to get the day started. Yesterday, if you haven't watched the video, we went to Blackcraft Cult, a store here. You might have heard of the brand. Their flagship store is here in Salem, and they have Blackcraft coffee. And we had to make a reservation for coffee, and we didn't have one, but we have one today. So you know what? It's almost time. We gotta go make our coffee reservation. I need some caffeine in my life. And there it is, Blackcraft Cult. You can already see the line has formed, but we get to be like VIPs because we have a reservation. We can skip the line. We just go, excuse me, coming through. Josh, Joy's just gonna go skip the whole line. Yeah, so we're going for coffee. Oh, look at you, looking all important, walking right in. The store is awesome. We did have more detailed in the video yesterday. Today's for coffee. We'll put a link to yesterday's video down below. Right in the back, Black Craft Coffee. They have good merch for just the coffee shop. Oh, wow. Beautiful spot. Flowers drying from the ceiling, but smelling that sweet, sweet smell of coffee. I think this is what I'm going for. Good Witch Latte of Salem. Pours matcha brew. See, the espresso machines are actually hidden in a cauldron. Look how good it sounds. Joy's getting the Good Witch Espresso Red Velvet, Ground Cinnamon, Vanilla Syrup, Milk Choice, topped with whipped cream and fairy dust. There it is. Joy got her the Good Witch. Iced. It looks tasty. Look at that gold, the sprinkles, the pearls.
I am a Good Witch.
Tasty.
It is so yummy.
It is hot but delicious. I'm glad we made reservations, came back today. It's really good coffee.
So here we are on Essex Street at Rope's Mansion, which was actually used in Hocus Pocus as Allison's house. Basically with Allison, they were helping Max and Denny try to trap the Sanderson sisters when it was more of they let them go. And Sanderson sisters wanted the sisters' soul, so this way they could stay young.
And we're talking about the original Hocus Pocus,
Hocus
from the
Pocus.
90s. But it is cool. This is actually Rope's Mansion that they used for that filming location. Right in the heart of Salem, and coming in the month of October, it is busy. Everyone wanted to come to Rope's Mansion. Everyone wants to see Allison's house.
It really is crazy to be like, that everything must have been shut down while they were just filming.
Yeah, because these are historic buildings.
This isn't, to originate, this is an historic building to begin with. Now you're going to use it to throw in on top of being like a movie location on top of a historic location. Like, oh man, double whammy.
We are no different than those other people. Joy needed her photo in front of Allison's house.
This is the Rope Mansion, or if you're a fan of the movie, you probably recognize it as the home of what character? Allison. This is Allison's house.
Even the tour's given the locations from the trolley. The Black Veil is a store I'm excited to go in. Like I said, we're checking out some stores. The shop is owned by two twin brothers who are tattoo artists. And this isn't the tattoo shop. The tattoo shop's on the outskirts of town, but this is a store that they have in town, showing lots of cool collectibles, artwork, pigs. A little item for Joy's collection. We got a Sally doll. Where was it made, Joy?
It was made... I'm going to totally butcher this and I'm really sorry. I think it's Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, so a little fair trade and ornament made. But it's cool. Joy loves Sally's. It's not like a Disney produced one, but it's a cool thing for the collection. Inside Remember Salem is a museum. For years I've been dying to go to. I've been dying to take you to. And maybe there's people that have been died already that could talk to you here. We are going to go check out the Salem Witch Board Museum. Come see the world's only Ouija museum right inside those doors. I've been wanting to come to this museum for a while. We were at the Witch Board Museum. In case you don't know what a Witch Board Museum is, it's also a talking board, a spirit board. A corporate logo for one would be known as a Ouija board. You might be wondering, well, why aren't they all called Ouija boards? Well, you see, Ouija board is like a brand, like between a Kleenex and a facial tissue. or Band-Aid and adhesive bandage. That's why those are Ouija boards. But the generic name would be a witch board or a talking board. It's an amazing tombstone. It's actually in a graveyard in Baltimore, the Greenmount Cemetery. It's the grave of Elijah Bond. He didn't invent talking boards. He didn't invent spirit boards. What he is credited for is he is the man that applied and got the patent for the term Ouija board. Here we have Charles Kennard, the man who actually, first person to manufacture the Ouija board. Ouija first made in Baltimore by the Kennard Novelty Company, 1891. You see the planchette was a lot more simpler then. It didn't have like a little window. You literally were just pointing with it. A whole shelf full of planchettes. In case you don't know, those are what you slide around on top of the Ouija board. And we actually have one of the most magical planchettes here. It's this one right here with the QR code, in case you want to follow them yourself online. It has a whole wall collection. Now this is a man's personal collection that turned into a museum. I love museums like this. It is amazing how many versions of spirit boards or talking boards have been made over the years. This one, if you see, this one actually has Nirvana, the magic swastika talking board. Now a lot of people nowadays associate swastikas for the Nazi movement in Germany under Hitler's rule, but you have to remember this was a symbol of life for a lot of different cultures, and that's why this one was manufactured in 1907 by Swastika Novelty Company, way before the Nazis ruined that symbol for the world. The far wall is a wall of knockoff Ouija boards. Now, when that first patent was made, it was only for 16 years. So, all these other companies started doing knockoff boards. They actually started using the Ouija name on it. Now, the man who invented the Ouija board, not invented the board, invented the company, see this is where things get tricky, was named William Feud. Now, William Feud was credited and his name sort of is branded, let's say, with Ouija board. Now, he invented the company that was making them for all those years. And when that happened, since everyone was buying Ouija boards, he figured, how do I stop my competition? And he came out with these boards called Mystifying Oracles. Now, he didn't want to devalue his board of Ouija brand, so these he sold for a little less, undercutting all those people making counterfeit boards. And the cool thing is, once those boards started going out, he started cross-branding his Ouija board and his Mystic Oracle boards, taking the two brands, making them one. He actually started making a second factory in Baltimore to make these boards, but the crazy thing that happened was he was making it because a Ouija board actually told him to make the factory. He was installing the flagpole on the roof, and while doing it, he fell. When he fell, it stopped his pocket watch, and his pocket watch is sitting right there. I have some metallic Ouija planchette prototypes by the William Fuld Incorporated, Baltimore, Maryland, 1966. When Fuld died, he told his family not to sell Ouija. Now, people don't know that means stop selling the boards, don't sell the company. Who knows? Many years later, his family actually did sell the company to Parker Brothers, who was actually made in Salem, Massachusetts. And here we have a printing plate for one of Parker Brothers' Ouija boards. And what's interesting is it's saying that's the only game ever to outsell Monopoly. We have some other kinds of boards. This first one was to communicate with aliens. The next one, since spelling out on a Ouija board sort of took a lot of time, so a board that had tons of words. So instead of just it actually spelling out letter by letter, it could choose words. I never heard of this board. It has to be one of my favorite. It's called the Incarnscope. Now, the point about this one is sort of figuring out all your past life. And I like to scan my past lives. That sounds like very interesting subject matter.
So this one is saying that it is claimed to have been dictated through the Ouija board by the Wizard of Oz author, Frank Baum.
We're looking at some pop culture things. We have like a Garbage Pail Kid. It says Ouija Walt. And then we even have a Funko Pop toy of a Ouija board planchette.
It's holding the board.
It's holding a board, yeah. We have some images where talking boards or spirit board or witch boards were used in pop culture. Look how many movies have it in their title, in their subject matter. Some boards with pop culture references. Talking board for the recently deceased, definitely a Beetlejuice inspired. And a good guy talking board from Child's Play. Even De Niro and Robin Williams used the Ouija board in the movie Awakenings. And it's interesting, they geared different boards to different people. Like here we have Ouija Mystifying Oracle. For little girls, it came in pink. Sold exclusively at Toys R Us. Imagine that, different brand, different marketing. Now with question cards, 72 fun questions. Will so-and-so invite me to their birthday party? Who would do anything for me? Who will I marry one day? Imagine little girls asking this. Will I ever play in a rock band? Even Norman Rockwell made a painting of someone using a Ouija board for the Saturday Evening Post. In a display in the far back corner, we have a Stranger Things Ouija board. We actually have a Stranger Things Ouija board at home. Now this Ouija board, they actually have, someone sent them with the note. If you find this board, please forward it to the Talking Board Historical Society. Trust me, you don't want it. It's because they said it was deemed bad. We don't know if it's possessed, what's evil with it, but it's here now. Protected. Protecting others as well. Sometimes the board might have told people some evil things or wrong things or just caused havoc or chaos. We have the first case. This is posted from the Boston Daily Globe, May 18th, 1990, of a woman who explained her suicide by saying she wanted to find out what was on the other side of the board. So she poisoned herself to get to the other side. Cases where the board told her that daddy must die. Dorothy told her daughter the board cannot be denied and ordered Maggie to shoot her father with a shotgun. Some crazy cases. Murder by Ouija board. We have a very important person when it comes to making the Ouija board, not talking board, but the Ouija board getting patented. Here we have Helen Peters Noseworthy. Two important things. She was a strong medium, and back then she's the one that actually used the board and asked, what is your name? And it spelled out Ouija. But more important with that is to get patented in the patent office. She used the board to prove them that it worked to get the patent, and it wasn't just a novelty. So even though people might credit Charles Kennard or Elijah Bond, if it wasn't for Helen Peter Noseworthy, the board never would have happened. And if you come and want to bring one of the cool boards home with you, you actually could buy some of them to bring home with you. So the main tourist area in Salem is Essex Street. It is filled with people enjoying the holidays. This haunted happening is overtake the town. There are some vendors, a lot of street performers or characters you can take photos with. Maybe you want your photo of Frankenstein's monster. You could do that here. And just south of Essex Street is Town Hall. This is the next location we're going to look at.
So right here we have the old Town Hall, which the exteriors were actually used in the movie to do where they go in and they have the whole Halloween party, and the Sanderson sisters are on there singing their own version of I Put a Spell on You.
Yeah, so this was the party. Ooh. It is cool. And like I said, that's Essex Street right there, where everyone's walking, and it's right here.
Candles.
There are so many merch throughout the whole town. We just walk and people are selling cool stuff everywhere we go. Molgoth trash. Joy, do you need a hat that says pee pee poo poo? I fell in love with a cool booth. Look at these cats, and we're thinking for our friend, she's an art teacher, and they have coloring book versions. Killer kitties. Oh yeah. And if you're into those awesome drawings, here is their information. They might not sell online, but you could link. They're always traveling, going to events, so you can find out where they are to get some cool stuff. Some other styles. We have Mothman, Loveland Frog, some cryptids, down to a jovial cat dancing a fool. Look, one of his arms looks like it's bones. Oh no, it's just a stripe. And besides the coloring, they even have some amazing shirts. Some classic Halloween ones. Some for this event here in Salem. And even some Mothman shirts. Which hat should we choose? Get it? Get it, Joy? Which hat? We left Essex Street, been walking through more of a residential area of Salem. Because that haunted happenings isn't only happening on Essex Street. It's actually happening in the area called the Salem Commons. And that's where we're heading to right now. Just look at it. A lot more booths, a lot more vendors, a lot more happening. We have food. We have dough. It's like a fair without rides. Welcome to Salem's Haunted Happenings. Welcome to Salem. They came to Salem. Salem has played host to many famous visitors. The Marquis de Lafayette stopped by twice in 1784 and 1824, and his friend George Washington slept here in 1789. Washington would be followed by sitting presidents James Monroe, John Quincy Adams, Chester Arthur, and Andrew Jackson. Calvin Coolidge and William Howard Taft were frequently seen in Salem while summering locally. Many famous Americans, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, and Daniel Webster included, came to Salem to lecture at Lycombe Hall on Church Street. Harry Houdini brought his legendary escape act to Witch City in 1906, but failed to appear at the annual official Houdini seance when it was held in Salem on Halloween Eve 1990. That was a seance to see his spirit. He was dead. It's not like he didn't show up. He died in 1926. They were trying to see if he'd show up again as a spirit.
How would I know?
The commons were used in the movie Hocus Pocus as well, but it looked a lot different when they filmed than this. I love me a good pennant.
There's too much shit on me. There's too much shit on me.
And they's got some good ones. I collect devil stuff. I could not walk away without it. Like, they're making their own. It's not like printed by the town, let's say, but it's for Salem. That's where we're at. It's cool. It has a devil. I collect devil stuff. We have fall stuff. We have candles. We have some weird stuff that I'm surprised to hear, like beer bottles with candles. Because when I think of Salem in the fall, I think of a Stitch hat. I don't think of that. But everyone needs to make a living. I understand. There's all different kinds of vendors here. Some beautiful items to be purchased there. We walked away with a pennant. Now on to one more Hocus Pocus location. Standing across the street from the columns is a building. We see on the top it says Phillips School. It started off as a school. Sadly, it is not anymore. But it was a school in the filming of the movie of Hocus Pocus. So in the movie, this would have been the school that Max and Allison went to. There's an iconic scene of the green smoke, magic powder, whatever you want to call it, coming up off the peak right there in front of us. Imagine 2 a.m. you somehow got locked in the commons. So you thought, cut away the fence to walk out right there, not realizing the exit was right there. All you have to do is turn around sometimes. If you hit a dilemma, turn around, step back, and you can see you can walk out right here. As we end the day in the shadows of Roger Conant, standing in front of the Salem Witch Museum, starting the day with some black craft coffee, looking at the Salem Witch Board Museum, We got to see some of the happenings at the Haunted Happenings. Looked at some of the locations of the filming of Hocus Pocus. To me, that sounds like a good day. What do you say?
That definitely sounds like a full day.
It sounds like a day I could call. What do you say?
I think so.
A fun day here in Salem. Been there, done that. Remember, folks, safe travels
Good eats.
and live life. In the car from the parking garage, just wanted to enjoy the final of the sun setting. Always park on the roof of the parking garage. Gets the best views of towns.